Hello students, last time in the last lecture we had finished the chapter 1. Now let's move to the chapter number 2, which is actually motion in one dimension. Before starting this chapter, we need to clear about two concepts which that are the basic definitions related to the motion, and the second thing is types of physical quantities. I am not going to classify the physical quantity in terms of fundamental or derived physical quantities. Actually, we are discussing about the way to write a physical quantity and the basic classification with the dependency on the direction, need of the direction. Okay, so let's discuss about first types of physical quantities. There are two types of physical quantity. Whenever we write a physical quantity, it holds two things. One, its magnitude, means value, the magnitude or the value of that physical quantity, and the second is its SI unit or simply unit. Okay, we always write a physical quantity in this way. But there is one thing extra which we need to discuss about, that the effect, the direction of effect of that particular physical quantity. Means whenever we discuss about a physical quantity, it will hold two things. The magnitude means the amount of effect of that particular physical quantity, and the second is the direction dependency, or we can say the direction of that particular physical quantity. On the basis of this thing, we can further classify the physical quantity in two ways. And those two categories are scalar physical quantities, or we can simply say scalar quantities, and vector quantities. And you need to pay attention on this thing, because this concept is very important in the when you are going to study in 10th class, whenever you are going to study in 11th class. So this topic will help you. So at that time, now we just need to focus that what we meant to by scalar quantities and the vector quantities. So let's discuss about this. So a physical quantity basically consists magnitude usually and the unit. But what is the meaning of this direction? Suppose we are talking about force. So if I say to someone, or if I call a student and say just push this table or move this table with a force of 20 Newton. So I am just giving him the magnitude and the unit of the force. But the problem is that I am not telling him or her the direction of force, means in which direction he or she needs to apply the force. So this is the incomplete information regarding the force. In turn, he will or she will ask about it, that sir, in which direction I need to apply the force. So this is the incomplete information. So there are many physical quantities in which they are actually direction dependent, means without direction information is incomplete. Such physical quantities in which direction is an essential part, such physical quantities are called vector quantities. Means vector quantities holds both of the things, magnitude with direction. While if I talk about mass of a boy, mass of a girl, or mass of a person is simply 40 kg, 60 kg or whatever it is, it holds only the magnitude. It doesn't depend on the direction. Whatever you are on earth, you are in the space, you are on moon, you are on Mars, your mass will remain same, or the mass of a body will remain same until unless the body is disintegrated, or we can say it is broken. So basically mass is not going to change. It is independent of direction. So we can say mass is a type of a physical quantity in which magnitude and unit, these two informations are sufficient. There is no need to discuss about the direction. So such physical quantities are called scalar quantities. So scalar quantities basically holds magnitude only, not the direction. Independent of direction, we can say. Independent of direction. Such quantities are called scalar quantities. For example, mass, time, volume. So we can discuss about this. Vector quantities are those which are having magnitude as well as direction. Suppose a force with this direction. Velocity, it's a vector quantity, while speed is a scalar quantity. In the same way, distance is a scalar quantity, while displacement is a vector quantity. If a body displaces from A to B and comes back to A, so simply you can say its entire displacement is zero, because the initial and the final position of the body is they are same actually. So displacement is zero. Circular motion, during one complete revolution, displacement is zero. So you are talking about the direction. If you are taking the displacement in A to B as positive, so you are taking B to A as negative displacement. So net displacement is zero. Is a direction dependent. While if I talk about distance traveled, so we are not talking about the direction. Suppose A to B, a body is going A to B then to C in this way, and it is 3 km and it is 4 km. So total distance traveled by the person is 7 km. So it is independent of the direction. So now we know the basic information about the scalar quantities and the vector quantities. You will be able to define these two types. Scalar quantities are those physical quantities which are independent of direction. They hold only magnitude with unit. Vector quantities are those physical quantities which holds magnitude as well as direction. They are basically direction dependent. Okay. So examples of vector quantities are displacement, velocity, acceleration, force, etc. While the examples of scalar quantities, we can say examples of scalar quantity, mass. See, there is a difference between mass and weight. Mass is the amount of matter present in the body, so it is a scalar, while weight is the force by which earth is attracting us, is called our weight. So weight is a kind of a force, so ultimately it would be a vector quantity. So weight is a vector quantity. Weight is a vector quantity, while mass is a scalar quantity. Time, speed, distance, these are some examples of scalar quantities. So I hope it is very clear for you the difference, basic difference between scalar quantities and vector quantities. You should write these definitions in the examples in your text notebooks also. Okay, thank you. Now one question arises here, that is there any difference between the representation of a vector quantity and a scalar quantity? Then yes, there is a difference between the representation of a vector quantity and a scalar quantity, and that difference is whenever you are writing a vector quantity. Suppose we are talking about two physical quantities A and B. These are physical quantities, but B is a scalar quantity and A is a vector quantity. Means it is having magnitude as well as direction. So in its representation, you will write A as a bold letter, little bit bold, then B, or another way to write it, just to assign an arrow, upper arrow on the letter, like this. This is the way to represent A as a vector quantity, and you will prefer this method as compared to this one, because it is a little bit complicated to every time to represent the letter little bit bolder than the other general letters. So you will use this technique to represent a vector quantity. So whenever we are representing force, it is a vector quantity, so we will represent it like this. And please pay attention on this. The direction of arrow will remain same. It is not representing the direction of effect of the force. It is not representing the direction of effect of that particular vector quantity. It is just a symbol. Okay, so you will treat it like a symbol. It doesn't matter that the force you are exerting on a body in a upward direction or in the downward direction. The vector quantity will be remain we apply in the same way. Means the direction representation will remain same in this way. Okay. vector and suppose B vector and we are writing C. So ultimately you can say that A and B are vector quantities while C is a scalar quantity because it is quite different as compared to a vector quantity. Okay, and if we talk about in diagrams, so the effect of a vector quantity is represented by an arrow. The effect of a vector quantity is represented by an arrow, and the direction of arrow will be the same as the direction of that particular vector quantity. So, and let me tell you one amazing thing, that the length of that arrow will be equivalent to the magnitude of that particular vector quantity for which you are representing it. Means if I say a force of 5 Newton is being exerted on a body in upward direction. So first thing you will write it properly, that 5 Newton in positive y-axis. Suppose you are telling about the direction and you will represent it by an arrow along y-axis. If I am just going to represent it in xy coordinate system, you will represent it in y-axis, say x dash, y dash, and its length. So ultimately it is acting in y-axis and its length will be of either 5 cm or 5 meter because its length is going to represent the magnitude of that particular physical quantity. So this is the way to represent a vector quantity and a scalar quantity. So you will use an up arrow, or we can say you will use an arrow over the letter to represent a vector quantity, and you will use simple letters to represent a scalar quantity. Okay, so I hope this whole thing is very clear for you. Now in the next lecture we will discuss about some fundamental basic properties of a motion, or where we will discuss about the basic characteristics of a motion. Whenever a body is in motion, by which physical quantity we are going to study about that motion, means the speed, displacement, velocity and different aspects also. Okay, thank you very much.